Good morning, everyone. Today, this is the very first session which I am going to take for class 10th. As we already know that this is not, it's a grading subject, it's not one of your compulsory subjects, and that's why I have taken this session a little late. So, I'll be posting short videos from time to time so that everybody gets in touch with the class. So we are going to start with the very first chapter, that is the internet. The first two chapters are all about internet, its history, how it evolved, how it developed through the ages, and what all services it provides. So we'll begin. What is internet? The very first thing which we are seeing over here is what is internet? It is a global interconnected computer network in which every computer connected to it can exchange data with any other connected computer. So internet is a global connected network. In the previous class we had studied about the different types of networks: LAN, MAN and WAN. So internet is a part of your wide area network which connects all the small networks, whether local area networks LANs or metropolitan area networks MANs, of the world. Why was internet introduced? So very simple, it was basically to share information using computers, that is to pass information, to exchange information between two sites, to connect the different universities and organizations worldwide, to communicate easily with near and dear ones, and many more. So I don't think why internet was introduced, that should be a very big question or tough question. Now some significant events in the history of internet we are going to see. It started evolving from 1962 when J.C.R. Licklider, he was one of the members of ARPANET, and he conceived the idea of a galactic network. So this particular word which you see over here, that is galactic network, it comes from the word galaxy. Now what does galaxy mean? It means a huge collection or clusters of stars in our universe. As we see our Milky Way galaxy, which is compacted with different stars, and actually it is a densely populated region of stars. So you can see all the stars in the Milky Way. As we have galaxies and multiple stars, numerous countless stars in the galaxy, similarly a network which contains an innumerable countless number of devices, network devices, computers, tablets, smartphones, and other network devices like routers, switches, gateways, that is a galactic network. Next, 1969, ARPANET goes online connecting four computers. So very first internet which was actually created or started by the Department of Defense in USA. It stands for Advanced Research Project Agency Network. So this, the main idea behind starting ARPANET was to connect computers during the World War, and during war times it is very risky to send a human messenger from one place to another carrying message, because during the travel that person might get killed or something might happen, some mishap might take place, or the information might get hijacked. So in order to keeping in view all these things, keeping in view all these potential risks involved, uh, people at advanced DARPA, that is Defense Advanced Research Project Agency of the Department of Defense in USA, they thought about creating a network which would connect the computers together such that it would be easy for sending and receiving information without having the need to send a human messenger. 1972, Ray Tomlinson invents email. So the email which we widely use today was invented by Ray Tomlinson. 1983, internet protocols begin. For example, TCP/IP. 1989, the World Wide Web is developed. The WWW, which we so extensively use these days, that was developed. 1994, the first graphical web browser Mosaic was developed. And in 1995, barriers to commercial activity are lifted. How it evolved. In 1962, JCR Licklider first proposed the development of a global network of computers. Then he moved to DARPA. As I already told you, it was a group of people working for the Department of Defense, and they wanted to create a network. So scientists at DARPA, they created, they networked two computers first of all in 1969, and this was based on packet switching, where your intended message doesn't travel in one big lunk. Instead, it is divided into many small parts known as packets, and each packet takes up a different route to travel. So ARPANET was developed as a means of communication for US military services. So initially these were the four computers which were connected together. And see here, this part, that is the Stanford Research Institute, then University of Utah, University of California Santa Barbara, University of California Los Angeles. So computers at these four locations were connected to each other, and this formed the very initial ARPANET in 1969. Now we will see in this slide how ARPANET started evolving. In this particular, in the first image, you can see this is the scenario of December 1969, where four computers were connected. June 1970, this was the scenario where the network was stretched to the far eastern side of USA, and it connected Harvard University with two more universities, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and one more university is there. In March 1972, it again evolved, few more universities were connected to each other, and July 1977 it got even more evolved. That is, even more and more people started collaborating with ARPANET. They kept connecting their servers with ARPANET, and this is how the initial internet was in its infancy, that is, in its growing phase. By the end of 1971, almost 15 sites from different organizations were connected to the ARPANET. Then NSF net was created, which was developed by National Science Foundation, another US agency, and they created a high capacity network called NSFnet, which was more capable than ARPANET. Private organizations and people started working to build their own networks, which were later interconnected with ARPANET and NSFnet to form the internet. Now, as it happens, I'll give you an analogy. Streets are limited if compared to the number of vehicles on the road. So the number of vehicles is increasing day by day, but compared with the number of vehicles, streets do not get constructed every day. Okay, it takes time. Constructing the streets is a time consuming process, it's quite time taking. So what happens is the existing infrastructure, it starts faltering as the number of vehicles increases on the roads. What happens eventually, it leads to traffic congestion on the roads, more accidents, more loss of lives. So this is what happened as ARPANET's technology was not that developed to handle this um sudden outburst in traffic, that is traffic on the network. As more and more people started joining or collaborating with ARPANET, as more and more computers were joined to ARPANET, hence the amount of traffic, that is number of packets or communication, number of communicating packets commuting over the network also increased manifold, increased exponentially, and hence this existing configuration or this existing technology of ARPANET was not sufficient in handling this ever growing network. Hence, NSFNet created a high capacity network which was able to do so, and finally, these two were combined to form the modern day internet. So, National Science Foundation created NSFNet. You can see their official logos here. This is the NSFNet network. As you can see, it covers even more number of organizations than as compared to ARPANET. After the evolution of internet, ARPANET was shut down in 1990 and NSFNet was discontinued in 1995 because even NSFNet's architecture was not able to support the boom in the network. Hence, popularity of internet grew with the latest edition of TCP IP. So in our next video we will study about TCP IP. In the end, just one request to everyone, if you really benefit from this video, then please like my video, share my video and subscribe my channel. Please do not forget, like the video, share the video and subscribe my channel, and thank you all for your love and support.